Thanks, Bill. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio kicking off his first term in office with a rollout of some pretty progressive proposals. Take a look.
We will ask Albany to give New York City the power to raise the minimum wage in all 5 boroughs. We will reach out to all New Yorkers, regardless of immigration status, issuing municipal ID cards available to all New Yorkers this year.
Wow.
But former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani says that's not progressive, it's retrogressive, and he joins us right now. Good morning. I mean, when you hear that, what's your reaction to the cards that are going to be issued?
First of all, the minute I hear the word progressive, I laugh, because these are ideas that are 130, 140 years old, have been tried before, have been tried in New York City before, all these liberal ideas, right? And the economy of the city was a disaster when I took over as mayor of New York City. It was 10.5% unemployment, deficits of $2 and $3 billion, 500,000 jobs gone. To raise the minimum wage just in New York City, not the rest of the state, will drive businesses out of New York City, into New Jersey, into Nassau County, into Westchester County. If the minimum wage is going to be raised, and I doubt that it would help, it has to be done statewide. Can't be done just within the city. Plus, I don't think he can accomplish it. I don't think the state legislature will do it.
Right. I mean, he's going to slap down twice. He wanted to raise taxes right away, and then he wants to raise minimum wage right away. His Democratic governor buddy, who told all conservatives to leave the state 2 weeks ago, doesn't even have time for this school of thought. Would you say, Mayor, the city's in such good shape, we're not going to feel the ramifications of these progressive policies for a while?
Quite correct, Brian. It's like taking over a very successful business, starting to do things that are going to ruin it. If it's a very successful business, it'll sustain itself for 2 years, 3 years. Mayor Bloomberg left him with an exceptionally well-run, very good functioning city. And it's going to take a while for that to deteriorate. In the past, when mayors took over, for 30 years or so, before I became mayor, they were taking over a disaster. So either they fixed the disaster a little or it got much worse. This mayor finally is taking over a city that's really well-run.
Right.
But these things will kill it. And the card for immigrants, I mean, I don't understand how a city alone can give a card to someone. What good is it going to do? You show that card to TSA, they're going to laugh at you. You have to get a state card. You got to get a driver's license. It has to be done by the state, not by the city. All this will do, actually, he's actually going to hurt illegal immigrants. It's going to like point them out as, as exceptions. There's the illegal immigrant. He's got the card. You and I will have driver's licenses. They'll have, I'm an illegal immigrant.
Right.
I mean,
and a lot of them won't show up to get the card.
Yes, some of them may not want it.
Did anybody think? Does anybody think out these things, or they just say them? I mean,
just shooting from
what good is it going to do? Right.
Is he taking note from the president here, just kind of signing the pen?
It sounds that way. It sounds like I'm just going to propose these things. I don't care about the state legislature. I don't care about the governor. But the reality is, these things can't get done. Right. At least not the raising of taxes, and certainly not the whole idea of the minimum wage without the state. The card, I guess he could give out a card, right, but it would be useless. And I think illegal immigrant groups, I've even seen some complain to this, say, we don't want such a card. Come on. There's a good argument for and against illegal immigrants being allowed to have driver's licenses. After all, they're going to drive anyway.
But Mayor,
does it make any sense? Does it make any sense for them not to be able to drive without insurance? That's a good argument to have, but that happens at the state level, not the city level.
Isn't this sort of an umbrella issue that we're looking at right now in terms of executive order, executive power, sort of disregard for lawmakers in general, how this nation was designed to come together and put forward laws? I mean, what we're seeing here is sort of a power ruling, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about what the president has done, he's basically trying to override the separation of powers, because he's not happy with the fact that he has to deal with a Congress that's actually, after all, he's got a split Congress. Almost every president, with a few exceptions, has had to deal with that. Reagan had to deal with that. Clinton had to deal with that. Both Bushes had to deal with that. But we didn't have this kind of problem with them.
But, I mean, your report card's pretty well known. It's tremendous. But looking right now at what he represents more than New York, Bill Clinton showed up at his inauguration. Is it right now you have a very liberal president? Is this a movement by the Democratic Party to run more left in 14 and 16?
Yeah, I think it is. I think there's a movement within the Democratic Party that's unhappy with moderate Democrats, and I think they keep talking about that going on in the Republican Party. I see that going on as strongly, if not more strongly, in the Democratic Party. I think the president kind of unleashed it Mayor de Blasio is kind of an example, and he's very proud to call himself a progressive, so he has no problem with that. I'm the one who kind of thinks that description is a misnomer.
Right, and finally, I see that John Boehner's going to hand up a clean debt ceiling release. He's going to allow the debt ceiling to go up and not ask for anything in return. Tea Partiers are upset. Mayor, is this a good tactical move by Republicans?
Yeah, it is. It is. I know they're upset, and because they're very principled people and they feel very strongly about it. I do. I think the Speaker's very upset. Practically, let's keep the concentration on Obamacare. Let's not give him one day of a diversionary story until the 2014 elections, because Obamacare is going to give us a good chance of taking over the Senate, because it is such a total disaster.
Right, and when you have to make all these changes, it's hard for the pushback.
Sure.
Mr. Mayor, thanks so much. As a story in New York is becoming a nationwide story, you're the perfect person to talk to. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, more Fox and Friends in just a moment.
That's right.